wow, we've come a long way since the first generation iPhone. I finally managed to get my hands on one of these, so, you know, let's just, you know, cut the boring stuff and just get straight in. Yeah, there is a few screen burns, but I mean, even if you gave this to someone in 2007 for like £100 off, they would still be over the moon. I mean, this was revolutionary. Like, people using phones like this, I mean, just a bit bigger, this is just a tiny version. People using phones like this back then, like this may look really like funny and old to look at compared to modern day smartphones, but look at the competition. Like, you had phones like this and the phones like this. Like, this one was obviously revolutionary, because look, these have buttons set in plastic, so like you can't change what they do. But here, you know, this is all just a full-on touchscreen, so the app developer can change what the touchscreen does. They can make it do whatever it wants to do. And I mean, you know, the storage is a lot smaller than phones we have today. I mean, this is the highest storage configuration, 16 gigabytes. Compared to phones today, you can get multiple terabytes. My phone only has 128 gigabytes, but that's the base storage. I mean, 16 gigabytes. I mean, that's I mean, you could get a few videos on there. I mean, that's about it. I mean, my photo gallery is about 4 gigabytes, and one of the iPhone, the first generation, only had 4 gigabytes. So the only thing you could fit on there is my camera roll, and I've only got 2,000 photos. So, right, enough of the rant. Now let's have a look at the actual phone. Oh, slide to unlock, which apparently I've heard that Apple didn't even invent it. Apple's the one that made it popular. This is running iOS 3.1.3. There is a little screen burn. I know that was in the listing. I didn't get scammed. On to about, I want to reveal my serial number, but version, if you can see there, 3.1.3. And I mean, I'd rather a 1.0. They're definitely more rare, but I do have apps on here actually. Apps such as Talking Tom. It is jailbroken. I didn't jailbreak this, but yeah, I mean, this just shows how old it is. You know, you can't even, if I go onto the App Store now, you know, when you're ready, mate, go on. You know, I'm not like I'm recording a video. Go on. Take your time. Cannot connect to the iPhone store, even though it's the App Store, but this does have apps that someone has downloaded on here. So let's give these a look, shall we? When it loads, there we go. Talking Tom 2. Let's turn the volume up, shall we? Oh. I mean, very basic, but very laggy as well. This actually still holds a charge with its, right, the home button isn't fiddly. Okay, there we go, it's just really slow, and now it's crashed. Yeah, this thing is quite slow, but this is the starting point for every single mobile phone we use today. Well, unless you're using some crappy brick phone still. Oh, let's put the Nano back, shall we? Don't disrespect the iPod Nano 7th generation like that, you stupid brick phone. Nah, okay, it's not a stupid phone. That's actually a cool phone. It's like the size of an app roll. It's tiny. But I mean, just looking at like the competition Apple had at the time. I mean, if you can even call it, sod the Nano. If you can even call it competition, Apple was just bloody miles away. I mean, we're talking like this. I mean, phones like this were released in 2007, and we got devices like this, was released the same year. Like, this looked like, at the time, if you'd have said to someone, what year do you think this phone's from? They'd be like, that ain't a phone. That's and we're like, yeah, it is. So when it takes you about 5 hours to convince them, yeah, this is a phone, they'll probably say, oh, 2030? No. They'd be like, this year. They'll be like, no, it ain't. But yeah, so I mean, the speakers ain't the best. I've recorded a voicemail on here. Yep, when it loads, there we go. If I full on blast this, I mean, it's not actually that loud. It just sounds horrible. Alright, let's stop that. That's killing my ears. The music app, if you can see it under that really pixel burn, was called iPod at the time. It had a little iPod icon. I don't really have any devices that still show that. I've got one song on here which still works, which I'm not going to play for copyright reasons. But you know, I'm surprised it still works. Calculator, you know, 4 times 5, I've got 20. Calculator fully works. That's actually pretty zippy. And like, I mean, that's one thing on the phone that ain't slow, the calculator. YouTube, as expected, will not work. I've tried this before. Cannot connect to YouTube. And I'm connected to Wi-Fi. Yeah, no, not many sims work on this. Hang on, I'll show you how big the sim tray is. The sim tray on this was massive. I mean, just using this sim pin ejector tool I have here. Oh, if I can get it in. Look how big this sim was. I mean, that sim there does not work, sadly. And this is locked to China Mobile 5.0. But look how big the sim is. Like that's ridiculous. I mean, what can I compare this to? Like, I don't know, my watch. Yeah, that'll be a good comparison. It's half the size of my watch. I mean, this is the small one, but still, that is mental how big it is. I mean, you can tell that Apple had all of this figured out, and this was a smash success, or else, you know, we wouldn't have the phones we have today. I mean, this is layered the foundation for phones we have today. I mean, here's my 3G, which there we go, which is activation locked, unfortunately, and I can't bloody activate it because Apple decided to shut down the servers. You can just see the evolution between these two. You can just tell, like, it's just the colour. They've just inverted the colours, essentially. You know, from silver, well, except for this bit, that stayed the same, but, you know, the buttons, they were just inverted. I mean, the headphone jack, everyone was complaining about this because Apple's earphones, which I have here, you plug them in. Works perfectly fine. But if I get my third-party ones, third-party headphones didn't really fit. Look, that's loose, ain't fitting in. But when I put this in, you see, it's tight, that ain't coming out unless I really wanted to. So that's when the 3G was released. You can use third-party headphones, no problem. So let me get my third-party headphones back. These fit in, no problem, they're secure. And same with Apple's headphones. Fitting in perfectly and securely. So that's one thing that people hated about the iPhone first generation, also known as the iPhone 2G. People hated that, but, you know, when they did reverse this change in the iPhone 3G, people were clapping, people loved the change. But just to see how much thinner the iPhone 3G was than the iPhone first generation, also known as the 2G, you can see it is a considerable amount thinner. I mean, it's probably like 2mm, but talking about thinness, that's still a difference. But here I have a 3G. Oh, right, there goes the Nano and the 4S. They're all falling down. They can all go down. But the dock for the 3G, just to prove how much thinner it was, here's my first generation. Oh, I mean, doesn't fit. I mean, it does. I thought I broke it now. Yeah, it's really loose and it's about to fall out, so that ain't ideal. But then this, it fits like a glove. I'm putting that back here because I ain't buying a first generation dock. They come at some hefty prices, man. They're like £50, so I'll stick with just having this. Yep, I think that's fair enough. And I'll have a video coming out soon about the iPod Touch first generation. I'll be comparing this with the iPod Touch first generation, so make sure you subscribe to see that video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye.